Good evening. Email. Just making a random object with which to demonstrate on. There we go, just a random object. And with some icicles down here, and I'll snow the top. Hi, Mr. Vermilion. Y'all like me tartan trousers? Oh, hi. Whoops, that's my hairdryer. Good evening, Mr. Blake. Good evening, Mr. Wilson. I assume it's a Mr. Wilson. And Mihi. Would you like my shiny head? Let's wave at y'all. So yeah, we're gonna do some snow business, and once we've done that, if you've got any other questions, then we'll do that. Things you might need. You go, well, should I give it 5 minutes and see who else turns up? What time are we on? Let's have a look. Yeah, so we're bang on past. I'll hang around and give it a second. How many of you guys have got some stuff to follow along with? I'd be interested to see how you get on if you sat at your desks with a few bits and bobs. So for the icicles, by the way, I like a bit of packet, from a model, and I just cut that stuff up, and you want that straight bit. So that's for the icicles. The other stuff you need: some neige or some snow. This is Woodland Scenics. It says soft flake. It doesn't really matter what kind of flake you use. I've used a few different types, but there you go. This time I've got soft. A pot to mix things in. Some gloss varnish. Or water effect. Either is good. The hard coat's thicker in consistency, by the way. And some white paint. Some kind of applicator. Yeah, it's one of these weird spatula things that you get from Games Workshop. And some to mix with. I just use a bit of sprue because it gets caked in everything. So yeah, there we have it. Right, have you all got a brew? I hope you've all got a cup of tea, and then we'll crack on, eh? Oh, that was a great cup of tea. Right, okay. I assume by the lack of people saying, yeah, I'm gonna go along with it, that nobody's sat at the desks prepared to follow this lesson. I assume. If you are, give us a wave, or give us a thumbs up, or just say, go. Right. Okay. Gonna do icicles first. If that's alright with you guys. He says, should I do icicles first? Yeah. Here to watch an interesting Match of the Day is on later. Right, okay. So if hobby stuff's out, Match of the Day doesn't come to your TV, does it? You can leave it all out, you'll be right. Right, I'm going to angle this all down. You can all start watching away. Right, let's set that. And let's zoom in. There we go. Right, okay. Spilt some black paint earlier on, so I'll have to try to avoid that. Let's see, that's the area I'm working in. Right, okay. So, for the icicles, Mordin Ironguard asks me if I'm as good at 40k as I am at painting. No comment. Can't say I've lost too many games. I haven't won too many either. Yeah, I'm alright at it. I know the rules, kinda. Right, okay, so I've got this bit of packet, blister pack, what have you. Okay, I'm just going to cut it into some rough spikes. Alright. And let's do, I'm going to do two rough spikes. There's a spike. Can you see it? No, you can't. Oh, there you go. Can you see a spike? There you go. There's an icicle. Look at that. Your lives have changed already. I think I'll have another spike from there. I don't want to do loads of icicles. I just want to do a quick demonstrable icicle. Right. Where's my other spike? Oh, there it is. You have to be careful not to lose your spikes. There you go. Okay, so I've got the gloss varnish open now. Right, I've just got the brush just cause. Now I've got to proceed this by saying during this video, because I'm handling the soft hard coat and all other stuff like that, then these icicles might break off. What you guys will need to do when you recreate it is you've got to let each layer dry, or make each layer dry. Yeah, and then you've got to build up a good foundation, a nice thick foundation. Yeah, nice thick foundation of varnish to help keep them solid. So these are quite springy now, but I wouldn't want to push them more than that. Yeah. So, where's my base? So, first thing, choosing the hard coat first, because it's a bit thicker than the what do you call it? Thicker than the water effect. And I'm just going to put blob on there. Nice generous blob. And I'm going to shove my icicles on it. Could I, would I, should I use tweezers? Yeah, but I ain't got any, so no. Another way of doing it is once you've got it, to just dip it in, bam, there we go. 2 icicles on. Then I like to use a craft knife just to tease these things into position. There we go. You guys can all see that. So what I'll do is I'm going to give this a quick blast with the air dryer. There we go. So there's 2 bits of sprue stuck on the end of the side of the base. Now I've stuck them on the side mainly because I want some more security, while I'm doing this video. I might have stuck them hanging from underneath a little bit more if I wasn't doing this video, because that would be a little bit more realistic, but for this I need some reliability. So there we go. So now I'm going to start to build up the gloss varnish around this, and I don't want to go too thick, especially not with the hard coat, because it is pretty cloudy really. I don't want it to be cloudy. Yeah, and each time let it dry. Does anyone have any questions so far about how easy that actually is? Other than some patience and not rushing it, yeah, I'm just going to keep building up those layers. Yeah, let me get me a whiteboard actually. Any questions, by the way? Where's my pen? There we go. I'm back. Alright, here's my whiteboard. Okay, so there's the side of the thing that I'm doing the icicles on. Yeah, I've stuck the icicle on, and there's a little like seal of gloss varnish like that. Okay, yeah. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to build that seal up. Hopefully that'll start to disguise this hard edge. Yeah, you see that hard edge there. Yeah, disguise that hard edge, and also then smooth things out. And maybe if you want, so I could have a sharp icicle like that, or I could make things look a little bit more bulbous and random. See what I mean? And I'll just keep building that up until I'm happy with the shape of it. It's as simple as that. Now, I used to melt plastic. I have also used hairs from a paintbrush to do things like this. But Mr. David Soper, he uses this. So go and say hi and thanks to David Soper as well. But whatever it is you want to use to go in the centre there, as long as it remains pretty much invisible, then use it. Simple as that, really. So that is icicles. Alright, and as this goes on, I'll build it up. So again, let's just show you this. Yeah. In fact, I really should take close-up pictures. Unfortunately, with Instagram, close-ups don't focus in very well. So yeah. Right, any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Let me just go back and see if anyone said anything. Nope, lots of people just waving. Okay. Jake Skymore, is that that the name you were born with, Jake? Jake Skymore. He says, could I use PVA glue to stick the clear plastic on, or is it too cloudy? What do you think? What do you think? Do you see ice that same cloudy as PVA glue? Have you ever seen an icicle that colour? Yeah. And why would PVA glue be more appropriate in comparison to gloss varnish? People get hung up on certain words. They go, glue must be for sticking things, varnish must be for varnishing things. You know, varnish still gets sticky and glue is still crap. You know, you think about super glue, for example. Probably the most frustrating of all glues, you know. So there you go. Yeah, use whatever gets the job done, and use common sense while you're at it. Yeah, think your answers through. Okay. All right, moving on. I hope I answered your question there, Jake, by the way, or at least got you to think, because that's how I like to do these things. Got you to think, so you can get the answer yourself. So I'm just gonna hopefully show. There's some water effect on the palette, just there. Let's zoom in some more. Where is it? There we go. There we go. So there's the water effect on the palette. And while hard coat does dry pretty clear, you can see the difference there. Now if you build hard coat up in too thick a layer, it'll start to stay like this, and you don't want that. Yeah, you want it more like this. Okay, if that makes sense. Yeah, so but this is a lot thicker in consistency, so it's better to stick with, whereas this one's a lot runnier in consistency. Yeah, makes sense. Okay, so I think these will be pretty dry now. I'm just going to give them a quick nudge. In fact, I'll do it. Let's do it there. Just give them a quick nudge. So they're pretty well stuck on there, just with some varnish. Yeah. And now all I'd do is I'd take the water effect and just start to build that up. Now you've got to get real here. This might take all day. Yeah, it might take 2 days. It might take 3 days. Yeah, whatever it takes, that's what you've got to do. You know. But ultimately, that is how you do icicles, or that is a way of doing icicles. Icicles. Makes sense. Let's see if the zoom in will grab this guy again. So yeah, there's that. So you can see in this image here, I've got one sharp icicle, and this one I decided to give it just like a little kind of droppy type end. Yeah, I also varied the size of icicle. So we've got a small one. Yeah. This one's thinner, slightly longer. This one's a bit thicker. Yeah. These two are at different levels. Yeah. Some are further back. I've got this one right back there. Can you see? Can you see this one? This one's just like a weird sliver, like a kind of a spine, or like a wide flat one. There you go, icicles, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Okay, let's see what people have got to say. Okay, Chris Torish says, hi Tommy, thank you for your last live session. You're welcome, dude. been stuck in a bit of a hobby rut, so it have given me, I presume you're saying there, it's given you a fresh perspective on the painting aspect. Good, Chris, that's what we should be doing. I believe, like, as a teacher of painting, that if what I'm not doing is inspiring, then there's something up. And if what I am only doing is filling your head, then something's up. What I need to do is also inspire you to remove the things that hold you back, and replace them with more simple and direct ideas. Don't know where all that came from, but there you go. It comes out of me like that sometimes. Okay, so let's see who else says what. ROS, and that started with a little sliver of the sprue. You missed the very beginning. Alright. ROS workshop. Bit of blister pack. Yeah. Cut it into a real small, sharp sliver. Yeah. Stick it on with some varnish and then start to build the varnish up. Alright. Easy as that. Easy as that. Subtle painting. Thanks, I need this. I need a replacement to the G-Dub snow textured paint. The snow textured paint's alright, but this is when I do the snow in a second, that you'll find the snow's a lot more. Well, I'm in control of it, full control. You know, so there you go. Right, let's zoom back out. Any questions? Any more questions about the icicles? Got some snow. I always keep a plastic spoon in it because I'd lose it otherwise. Try not to breathe too hard around this stuff. So there we go. There's my pot. I don't need a lot. There's my snow. Shove it in my pot. And that's that. Next thing, get yourself some hard coat or water effect. So gloss varnish or water effect. Squirt a bit in there. Oh, do you know what? I put far too much snow in here just to demonstrate on this on this tiny base. But there you go. There you go. And then mix it. Mix it, mix it, mix it. Mix, 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 mix. If you've not mixed it, if you're not putting enough water effect, then add some more. So you want it to a point where it retains its own structural integrity. Okay, so before what I did was I didn't add enough in, and it kind of went all dry, and I knew it wouldn't stick to anything. This now, I think this is too thin. Look, see it's flowing and running. Well, you probably can't in that camera there, but here it's flowing down and running. Alright. You don't want it to do that. But also notice it's not very white. So this will dry in this weird clearness, which is why I keep a little bit of white paint. Okay. Now, I mean a little bit, because if it goes too white, it doesn't look convincing as snow. It's got to retain a certain translucency. Yeah, certain translucency. Okay. Also, I don't want to make all of this white. Well, it depends how I'm doing snow. So if you look at the snow on me nights, I wasn't that fussy about getting like the slight thawing snow, you know, that slushy effect. I wasn't too bothered about that. That's me gaming army. I just kind of wanted it done. So I just made a blanket colour. That's a pun, that really, isn't it? Blanket colour of snow, and I just applied that however and wherever. Easy peasy. But in this instance, so look at how much white I've got on there. Not a lot. And I'm going to mix this in this corner here. And you see how much more white that makes that. That tiny bit has done all that. And I'd even say that that is too white. Oh, there we go, that's better. That's better. There we go. So now I've got two mixes, a lighter mix and a more see-through mix. So I'll use this stuff for the thory, melty, slushy business, and I'll use this stuff for the thicker, more freshy snow type of business. Yeah, all makes sense. Any questions? Yeah. So there we go. Right. Got a bit of blue tack on this here, like that. I'll put that there. So now I can just get in my pot, and you guys can see what I'm getting out of it, and it won't roll away as I do it. There you go, top tips. Okay, so I've got my spatula. Oh, do you know what? I need a swig of my brew. Oh yeah. There you go. I won't charge any extra for comedy sound effects. Right. There we go. So we've got our basic icicles on. They're pretty strong, them, no? Not that I'm recommending you should do that, because you shouldn't. Okay, so first what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on the kind of like the slushy type stuff. And you see it already kind of looks slushy. And what I do is kind of want to manipulate it. Well, I suppose it can go anywhere, really. Thinking about it, you put it down in the gaps. Why not? Right. Down in the gaps. Yeah. Then what I'll do is, I could just take a little bit. I mean, that's like tiny. It's like barely even a mil of this white paint. And if I just start to dab it in along the top, where I think actually this will be newer snow that hasn't quite melted. You see, I'm just mixing it in. Yeah, I'm letting it diffuse of its own volitions. Yeah. There we go. See, I'm literally sculpting the snow into the shape I want as well. Yeah, there you go. That's how I did. That's how I did this guy's snow. Again, really straightforward, really simple. You see how they match? Obviously, there's more on him. Really straightforward, really simple. As is everything I teach. Yeah, I don't see the point in doing some of the things other people do. So here's a top tip for you. I had some mold lines on my dude, and you'll probably have a little join on the top of the icicles as well. So I just kind of did like a snow overhang. Yeah, just to hide any inconsistencies. Another thing was the my dude on the base here, where I had him originally. I actually originally had him facing this way round. Yeah, and I turned him round, and where he was, well, there was holes drilled in the base that then became visible. So I used the snow to cover those things up as well. Yeah. So there you go. That is how to snow. Now, can't see what side of me whiter goo was on, but anyway, I'll just use some of this. I'm gonna a bit more white in the top there. Like, you've got to be really sparing with the white. It's like salt in cooking. You can put it in, but you can't take it out. Okay. Any questions at all? Because you've got it now. This is what everyone's been. This is what everyone's been missing for all these years. Everyone's been like, "Oh, snow! I need that. I do it real," and it's as simple and as easy as this. Almost all painting is as simple and as easy as this. And what gets in our way is We have this assumption that it's going to be hard. We have the assumption that it's going to take years of practice. We have this assumption that you've got to be an expert painter. Do you know what I mean? And it's not like that at all. If you just calm down and just think, what is the simplest way this could possibly happen? Chances are that'll be A, the best way, B, the quickest way, generally the cheapest as well, you know. So there you go, there you have it. Let's scroll back up. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move back to my normal place where I like to do these vids from. There we go. And back in the room. Hiya, everybody. There we go, that's much better. Right, get on and do an old Q&A business now. Okay. Who's saying what? Chris Torres gives me a thumbs up. Thank you, sir. Very grateful for that. Jake Skymore does as well. Thank you. Hi, Colourblind Miniatures. Very smart. Thank you. Cheers, Mum. Ultimately, though, you know, we have to thank the other painters around us. You know, the David Sopers, the Richard Greys, and the other painters of this world for inspiring such things as well. You know, so yeah. I like doing these live videos. To be honest, they've kind of taken over my own YouTube channel, so that I've not been making other videos. I've been doing these, which are inspired by you guys all the time. When you ask me questions, I get inspired to do a live feed. So not just do I get to teach you all at the same time, I get to answer your questions at the same time. And then when that's put on YouTube, I think that becomes a much more well-rounded tuition lesson-y thing, because if I was just to sit here and do a demo and upload it to YouTube, I can't anticipate your questions, I can't anticipate your struggles and issues or the equipment you have or haven't got, so I can literally tailor make this video as we go, and then I can upload it to YouTube, and I really enjoy doing them. So yeah, ROS Workshop. Start. Oh yeah, I've already answered that one. Zikra Abaddon says truly realistic. Thank you. Subtle painting. Thanks, you needed some replacement. Yeah, the G-Dub Snow is alright, but this, like I say, you've just got more control over it. Sorry, bud. Multitasking. Just snow and water effect in the pot. I'll upload this to YouTube, assuming Instagram lets me save it. Sometimes it doesn't, because it's not like that. But yeah, I'll upload this to YouTube, but there's a tiny touch of white paint in there as well. Okay, scrolling up. G-Bob, good evening, good sir. Where did I get that base from? Which base? Dave Paints. Which base? So this is just a 25mm 40k base with a thing stuck to the top of it from the pipeline kits. It's just on a couple of bits of plastic. There's nothing special going on there, but it's a pretty cool base, I suppose. There you go. Then this base that he's on, it's just a standard base that comes in the Age of Sigmar character basing kit, so anyone can have one. There you go. Jake Skymar says, thanks for the great tutorial, I appreciate the advice. My pleasure, man. Miss Abaddon says, thanks for sharing. Anytime. Colourblind Miniatures. Enjoyed watching it. Yay, cool. And Dave Payne says, yeah, that one. Right, so there you go. Simple, easy, direct, straightforward. What else do you want to talk about? Get your questions in and all that business. And if all 12 of you that have joined us don't have any questions, then I'm going to go and have a piece of toast. I really enjoyed this, I must admit. So come on, hit me with some questions. Do you like me tartan jammers? How would I mix blood into the snow? I'd wait for it to dry first. And then did you see how I mixed the, what do you call it? White paint into the snow. I'd go in like that, and I'd either use blood effect, or my personal favourite is black and red ink mixed together. Marmite on toast, by the way, colourblind miniatures. And it depends how I want it on. If I want blood splats, then I put it on the end of a brush and splat it. Or I would put it in a brush tube and it splats out that way. But I much prefer the brush way. On the other one, you could just like dot it on and just like let capillary action just soak the ink out of your brush. But you know, when it comes to things like this, because there'll be a lot of the snow itself it's very, not is porous the word. There's lots of nooks and crannies for any liquids to soak through, so you're never really going to be able to anticipate how soaky it's going to be, how much diffusion you're going to get of your blood. So what I'd do is I'd always have something to practice on before committing to your model. So as I like to say, what happens on your palette happens on the model. Yeah, so whenever I'm painting, I don't wait to find out if things are right while I'm painting my project. I make things right on my palette beforehand, and you would need to do the same thing with snow, if that makes sense. Yeah. Cheese toasty, yeah. ROS Workshop says, no questions from me, that was a great demo, thank you. Cheers, dude. Hello, Kvizi, good evening. For those of you that I missed the demo earlier on, this video will be available for the next 24 hours on Instagram. If you click up in the top left corner on my profile, then you can watch the video there, and then Instagram automatically deletes it. But if I can download it to YouTube after this, I will do. So it's going to be there for you guys all the time. Make sense? So yeah, right, yeah, get your questions in. Do you know, I've realised like some of you guys might actually be new to me and this experience. So I like questions. I like to be not necessarily challenged, but I generally find questions are more useful than answers. So like when I am teaching, I will ask leading and probing questions to you guys. Hi Dave. And that way, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get you guys to think. I don't want any student of mine that comes to see me privately or one of my events or whatever, I don't want them just to have the answer. I don't want them to feel that the best thing to do is go and get somebody else to do the thinking. What I want them to do is I want them to go, okay, here I am in this position, I need to be in that position. What's the quickest, cheapest, easiest and most effective way of getting there? Okay, right, yeah, do that. Right, bang, do it. I want you all free thinking. I don't want you just thinking, well, it says gloss on the pot, it says varnish on the pot, therefore it must only be for gloss varnish. So you just got programmed by a pot of paint there. Like, it literally happens like that. Or this painting guide by this Golden Demon winner that says this is how you do non-met gold. No, it's not that how you do it. That's a way of how you can do it, and there's loads of different ways of doing everything. And so I always want your brains engaged. So I like questions, and I like to answering questions. Hopefully to snap your brain out of that feed me kind of attitude. Does that make sense? Angel Ambrosio. Missed the main process. Will I post the process in a SBS post? I don't know when an SBS post is, but this will be saved for the next 24 hours on me profile in Instagram. Click the top left thing, and if I can download it to my phone, I'll then post it onto YouTube, and I'll announce it on me feed and what have you. So yeah, Instadam. I like that. That's a cool name. Says, not a question regarding this evening, but what have I done? What could I do? A future live vid on dry brushing. That is a beautiful question. I'm going to answer with an answer. Yes, I will. Because dry brushing is underappreciated, ill promoted, and ill-used, and yeah. Have you got any examples of where you have tried to dry brush and struggle with things like that? So like dry brush some rocks, or I could dry brush a tank, or there's yeah. Give me some examples of what you'd like to see dry brushed. Colourblind Miniatures. Whereabouts am I based? I'm in Manchester, UK. I used to run a lot of events, but I don't so much anymore. Over the last few years, I was very ill. And I'm about to do my first event next month in Hull with Journeyman Miniatures. So if you search for Journeyman Miniatures, they run all sorts of events. They've asked me to run one for them over in Hull. That's going to be my first since being ill. So I've been my first in probably about 3 or 4 years, maybe more than that. So hopefully I won't be too rusty, There might be some others popping up, and I may get my own organised here in Manchester. But I do private lessons in Manchester. I'll travel around and do private lessons as well, which I have done. So if you tuition at golanpaintingstudio.co.uk, if you give me drop me a line on that, or even send me a private message on here, then I'll give you all the details. So yeah, tabletop painter. Hello, Club. I mean, you're in West Yorkshire, north or south? West Yorkshire. So you kind of said you're pretty close. Tabletop painter. Thank you. I'm glad you appreciate my work. I appreciate your appreciation. Honestly. Yeah. Thank you to you guys, because again, I enjoy these videos. In the beginning, when I started doing them, I kind of saw them as like video therapy. I just got to talk to you guys. Wakefield, that is round the corner. You are like, what, an hour on the train, if that. Wow, because I don't live far from Piccadilly, Oxford Road. A 10-minute walk from Oxford Road train station. So you probably get a train all the way here. So yeah, there you go. Miss Abaddon says, no question, but it's amazing how weathered with few stuff you are able to get amazing results. Yeah, I think there's a lot of painters out there, regardless of how good or how bad they are, that do things the long, difficult way. And I think two things have led me to this point where I think in terms of maximum results, minimum, not effort necessarily, but it's It's not about being lazy or cutting corners. It's about being direct and economic. 2 reasons have got me here. One is when I work for Games Workshop, I only like to use Games Workshop products, and that put me in a position where I had to start thinking outside of the box using what materials I had, so very limited everything. So there came a point where Games Workshop would allow you to use anything. You could use polystyrene, you could use plasticide, you could use MDF, you could use blah 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 blah. And then one day they just went no product only, and we were like, oh, what are we gonna do? And I went, right, bring it on. So that stuck with me really. I still like to only use Games Workshop products where possible. I like the challenge, and I include avoiding Forge World where possible in that, because I think there's something about Games Workshop plastics that they're so they're in theme and proportion with themselves, so that's how I like to keep things. And the other one is being a commission painter. So when I ran the commission painting studio, economy as part of a business is just a necessity. If you're not dealing in economy, then it's not necessarily going to make you money, is it, if that's your aim? So I had to think about things like that. But I'd say mainly teaching helped me really break down and understand what and how I do things. And then once I understood deeper what and how I did things, I was able to refine it more and more and more and more and more. So yeah, and I'm very analytical of myself as well. I've pretty much been searching for just the facts about painting, not just people's opinions on what works. So yeah. So it is a pet hate of mine, and it's popped up on some forums, on some of the things I've posted. And I quote now, "Oh, that doesn't work for me." No, don't think like that. Well, you can think like that all you want, but check yourself. Go, oh no, hang on a minute, because there's no such thing. It's not. This pot of paint doesn't work for me. It doesn't make any choices. I choose whether it works or not, and I develop that skill of whether it works or not through practice. I practice being aware of my choices, being aware of the cause and effect. What causes what effect. If I don't like the effect, then what caused it? Don't do that again. Do you know what I mean? And it's all dead simple when you put it that way. So the people that say, oh, that doesn't work for me, or that's not for me, no, what they've done there is they've failed to make it work and then blamed the situation, the technique, the method, whatever it is. Yeah, so learn them all. Don't go, oh, it doesn't work for me. No, learn them all. That's why, again, when you look at my well-known painting, this guy you don't normally see me paint like this. You don't normally see me use these colours. Why? Because really I've tried my best to learn it all, learn every bit, not just have my own default style, but cherry pick from other people's styles. And I really enjoy that. And that came up through the days before the internet, where all I had was a page in White Dwarf that was not probably a high def picture. Can't remember the printing methods, but I had to deconstruct paint jobs by eye through very not poor painting guys necessarily, but they'll just tell you the colours in a rough kind of like, this is kind of how we do it. And you have to dissect, and you have to begin to understand. So in fact that might be a good challenge for you. Try and dissect paint jobs without a painting guide. Try and reverse engineer. And here's the good thing: you don't have to be right. If you get the same effect, and the painter who originally did the thing you were trying to copy comes back and says, no, that's not how I did that. But then you've got 2 ways of doing it. You've got his way and the way you've just found. And you just become such a more diverse and more able painter. So yeah, challenge yourselves more, ask more questions, be more aware, These are. I say these things almost every video. Oh, when I go like that, I look like Nosferatu, don't I? So yeah. Alright, there's 12 of you still here. Thank you for still being here, by the way. I appreciate it. Miss Abaddon, you are very welcome. I like sharing my thoughts. Colourblind Miniatures, thanks dude. You appreciate the vid. We'll get in touch soon since you're only around the corner. Yeah, nice one, man. Wookie, good evening. ACW Miniatures, good evening. Cheney, good evening. Clipchak, oh, is that Kipchak? Good evening. So yeah, hit me with some more questions, guys. Yeah, give me a painting challenge, or even a non-painting challenge. You know, just chat time, innit? I don't know how long we've got left. ROS, good evening. Have a good night, and I'll see you next time. Give you some quick tips while you're thinking of some more questions. Dry brushing was mentioned earlier on. Best advice I can give you with dry brushing is when you think your brush is dry and ready to use, it's probably only 50% dry and 50% ready to use. Yeah, so go drier. Do it all again. I always keep something like this around. You see the texture on it. So when I'm preparing my dry brush, I can see when it's ready to use on something textured instead of a flat palette or a tissue. You know, this represents this is a great simulation for what a model is. Yeah, it's solid, it's coated in paint. Do you know what I mean? It's got texture, it's got different textures, it's got sharp textures, round textures, it's got edges, so I can test my brush to its limit. Yeah, instead of just using a tissue and then assuming it's ready. Yeah, so remember what happens on the palette happens on the model. Yeah, so that's how I work. So yeah, more questions. What are my top 10 tips for beginners? 10? I have to think of 10? Oh, dude, it's Sunday night. Okay, top 10 tips for beginners to do, or items to get. I don't know if this has already came up. No, it's never come up. So thank you for that question. Top 10 tips. Keep things simple. There's one. Yeah. Stop overcomplicating things. If it's red, it's red. Don't ask what colour red is that. It don't matter. If it's red, it's red. If it's a pinky red, it's a pinky red. Choose any pinky red. Just keep things simple. Yeah. Because ultimately, it kind of doesn't matter. It's your skill that matters later on in the long run, and that will come with awareness and time. I don't say practice. Awareness, finishing models over time. Because if you just blindly practice, you could be practicing poor things in. You don't want that. You want to be aware of what works, what doesn't, why it doesn't work, and make the adjustment so it does work. Okay, so keep things simple. Next, choose your tools wisely. Don't choose your tools because you've been told what tools are best. You know, so again, I like to minimise and everything. Good craft knife, nice retractable blade. This personally is my favourite craft knife ever. So if you can find one of them. Next, a good brush. I use 3 different size brushes generally, and they are these. Not necessarily these brands, but so a 3/4 inch wide brush, Games Workshop tank brush, or a large dry brush. They're my favourites. Then like a medium size is about just about a centimetre long, and this is about 2/3 a centimetre long. So a base coat brush and a small detail brush. Rarely use a small detail brush, by the way, unless I'm going super top end and I really want proper precise blends. So yeah, choose your tools wisely. Number 3. Develop your eye. Develop your eye to see what is there, not what you think is there. Yeah. For example, I once asked a kid one time, I showed him, you know, like the range of paints, the old Games Workshop paints. I said, what colour would you paint skulls? And he'd say skull white. I said, what colour would you paint bones? He said bleach bone. You know, he's being bamboozled by what he thinks he sees. And it's like, well, what are skulls made out of? Bone. Well, what colour really would you paint skulls? Oh, right, bone. Bleach bone. I go, right, well, think about it again. Is bone only one colour? You know, if it had been sat out in the desert for 10 years cooking, would it be bleach bone, or would it be more like skull white? If it was kind of fresh bone, you know, would it be bleach bone or would it be skull white? Or if it had been cooked on a barbecue for a bit and then the meat eaten around it, what colour would it be then? Are you all following me, by the way? Because when you eat a chicken leg, is that bone in the middle, is it bleach bone or skull white? Or is it none of them things? Yeah, so look at things for what they are, not for what you assume they are. Because bone can be skull white, it can be bleach bone, it can be weird grey, like the inside of a piece of meat, you know. And then the next thing is so the tip number 4, looking cool is more important than looking real. Bear that in mind. We ain't here to paint models to look real, because real can look shit sometimes. Ain't that a fact? You know, and we're here to make things look cool. If you can make things look real and cool, then you're on to a winner. You know, but what's cool? You know. Who else is? I'm going to struggle to get 10 out of this off the top of my head. Number 5, have tea. Lots of tea. In fact, that is actually in one of Games Workshop painting guides. You need a brew. So yeah, I think 5 is enough. Would you even can you even remember those 5? They're good pieces of advice. Treat your palette more like a tool instead of a place of convenience to keep you painting. It is not a place of convenience to keep you painting. It's your testing ground for everything that's going to happen on your model. It's your testing ground for whether it's going to happen good or bad. You know, yes, always need tea. So, the numbers are dropping off here, slowly but surely. You took notes? Dude, fantastic. Well, I'll go back to the brushes I like to use. I like Games Workshop brushes. I also like Element Games. Oh, it says at the top there, 20 seconds remaining. Cheers, everyone. Thanks for coming. I've enjoyed it. I always do enjoy these. If you want to see me for lessons, send me a PM on here, and then we'll get that rocking and rolling. So, good night, and thank you.